Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Aspire Sports Show. We're here with the 12-team mock draft that we did yesterday. We're going to go ahead and do rounds 4 through 6 here, finish this off, and then we'll do the later rounds at another time when Gig's able to do it. He got off work early, so we can get this done. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. So we can go ahead and get these rounds done. I will also be releasing tight ends 1 through 12. Check that video coming soon. And just so you know, we don't have our videos up just because you can't see us, their cameras. I'm not quite sure how to figure this out yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there and we'll have this up. But we're gonna go ahead. As you can see, this is the draft board from last time. So we're gonna pick up with team number 12. And yeah, let's go ahead and get it. Let's see who they got. Auto pick, Mike Evans. All right. It's not bad. I do like Mike Evans. Mike Evans, for me, I believe I had him inside the top 10. I have him right around the top 10. He's in the tier. I don't really follow rankings that much. I do tiers, and he's right there in that middle tier for me with borderline top 10 guys. So I like Mike Evans. I do think he's the best wide receiver on the board for me. So how do you feel about Mike Evans, Gig?
I think it's a solid pick. Josh Jacobs as their RB1's a little iffy. I might go Miles Sanders there. But if they wanted a wide receiver, I agree. Mike Evans was probably the best available.
Agreed. Like you said, I'd probably go Miles Sanders, but if he wants to go wide receiver, Mike Evans best available. Julio Jones, as you know, me personally, there's a couple other wide receivers I like on the board more than Julio. I don't like Julio as much this year. I made it in the previous video just because this team is not going to. I don't see him getting much more than 110 targets this upcoming season, so I'm not as high as others are on Julio. How do you feel about Julio? Are you higher than me? I'm guessing.
I don't really care for his ADP right now, but just seeing Julio Jones go in the 4th feels like a steal. But I'm probably more prone to take a Robert Woods or Amari Cooper over Julio right now. But I'd only have 2 or 3 more wide receivers that are available ranked higher than him. So I don't hate it. I don't love it.
All right, let's see who goes next. And man, oh man. Let's see who we got. Kyler Murray. Ooh, second quarterback off the board here. Don't like that pick at all, but I really don't like that pick. I mean, if I'm drafting a quarterback here, I'm going Josh Allen, not Kyler Murray, and I'm still not taking a quarterback in the 4th round. How do you feel about this pick?
I think Kyler Murray has the potential to finish as QB1, QB2, somewhere in that range. I think he could be near the top. I think he's going 4th or 5th QB right now. But if he didn't screw up his AC joint last year, he was having a phenomenal season. He's someone who can have 1,000 rushing yards and definitely can throw for over 4,000 passing yards. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't like taking quarterbacks this early, and I would say that most people would put Josh Allen over him, including myself. But I do expect Kyler Murray to be a top 4, top 5 QB taken this year.
I agree. I agree. I mean, like you said, though, I don't like quarterbacks this early. It's just too early for me. And now this puts me in a predicament because obviously Miles Sanders is there, and I really, really like Miles Sanders, but I do feel like I should go quarterback here. Or not quarterback, wide receiver, because I do have a top 10 wide receiver on the board for me. So I'm going to go. Oh, boy. I'm going to go ahead and just go with Amari Cooper, even though for me, I really like Miles Sanders at this spot. But I like Amari Cooper as my wide receiver 1. I'm okay with that. When my turn gets up next, I don't feel confident in my wide receivers that I'm going to have as I do with Amari Cooper. And I already have really 3 solid running backs, so I'm okay there. But I would love to take Miles Sanders there. Would love to take him. All right, let's see who we got here. Chris Godwin, solid pick. I have him right around there as well. There's another wide receiver that I would take over him, but also okay. DJ Moore. There's a wide receiver that's still on the board here, and so is still Miles Sanders here. So let's look at this team. We got Michael Thomas and Chris Godwin, DJ Moore. He could have definitely went Miles Sanders there. Miles Sanders is his RB2. That would have been pretty solid. So, yeah, you hoping Miles Sanders gets to you, dude?
Oh, I'd be so happy. I would be so happy. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
Whoa!
whoa,
Oh, baby. Josh
telling me
Allen.
there's a chance.
Let's see who goes. Oh, sniped.
I
Sniped.
knew it.
That was so close, though. But let's go ahead and talk about these two picks. Well, let's talk about these. We kind of rushed through this a little bit, but these picks here. I mean, Miles Sanders, I'm assuming you think that's great value, right? Where you got
Amazing
him.
value.
I agree
I
with
mean,
that.
look, they got Jonathan Taylor, Miles Sanders. I think that's fine. RB1, RB2, and then Stephon Diggs, Robinson. Like
That's a
this
very
guy,
good looking team.
this computer had two guys really fall in the draft to him, and Diggs and Sanders. So,
Scooped them up.
yep, good
Making
looking
some
team.
very good picks. Very good picks. How about these? Josh Allen. I mean, like you said with Kyler Murray, like I would have taken Josh Allen. Still too early for me. I mean, would you take Josh Allen there?
No, I'd probably wait one or two more rounds. I probably would have gotten one more receiver before I committed to quarterback. But I definitely think that with what's available for quarterback, if you were going to take one, Josh Allen would be the guy. But I still think it's a little too early to be taking these guys.
All right. And who are you gonna go?
I'm going to go ahead and take Robert Woods. I think he's going to have a really big year. Matt Stafford throwing him the ball is a lot better than Jared Goff. If you were to ask me who would you rather have, Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp, I would tend to lean Robert Woods. Cooper Kupp, very good. He doesn't stay as healthy as Robert Woods. I think he missed like a couple games because of personal reasons. It wasn't because of injury this past year. But I really think he has a high ceiling this year with Matt Stafford throwing him the ball.
I agree. Since he's basically been in Los Angeles, except his first year, he's been a top 20 guy. And like I said in my previous video, he's averaging 124 targets per season in the past 2 years. Cooper Kupp 125. Like that's volume there, people. And with an upgrade at quarterback, absolutely, he could easily finish inside the top 15. I love Robert Woods. That's why he's wide receiver number 15 for me. So, and honestly, Cooper Kupp's right there too. I like both of them with Matthew Stafford. I think they'll both. I think that I just like that whole offense. I like that team. All right, then we got Lamar Jackson. I mean, for me, he's also. I have him currently ranked as quarterback number 4. So, once again, though, if I would still wait on quarterbacks, I wouldn't be taking a quarterback currently. But if you're going to take a quarterback, he's right there. He's next for me. So, what about you? Same.
Yeah, I mean, my top 5 quarterbacks in no order would be Mahomes, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm totally okay with that. Lamar Jackson, that's someone who has the potential to be QB1 if he were to put up the same numbers he did his MVP season, because he's good for about 1,000 rushing yards and a handful of touchdowns rushing. So he's, for where he went on the quarterback list as the 4th quarterback, I like. But yes, to beat a dead horse here, it's just too early for me. But the run has started on quarterback, so time's ticking.
Agreed. So these computers are feeling the pressure here. And let's see who we got. CeeDee Lamb. I think that's fine. I mean, there's a couple other wide receivers that I currently have ranked higher than CeeDee Lamb, but I mean, CeeDee Lamb at this point, like you've had DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, that's fine. I just want to say this real quick because I did point this out in my previous video as well. Like CeeDee Lamb is currently being drafted over Amari Cooper ADP wise. Like to me, that's crazy. Like I don't understand that at all. That makes no sense why that's happening. So I like CeeDee Lamb, and I do think right around here, like round 4, the turn here is pretty solid for CeeDee Lamb, especially with these quarterbacks going now. But yeah, how do you feel about CeeDee Lamb?
I think that's right where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
I think like DJ Moore, Robert Woods, and CeeDee Lamb are kind of like all in the same tier for me. I definitely would agree. I'd go Cooper over CeeDee Lamb. I think he's proven that he is their number one. One day it will be Lamb, but for now, I mean, I would roll with Cooper over him. But tremendous upside. I think he's good for 1,000 receiving yards or more, and he's a hell of an athlete. So I do like CeeDee Lamb here. I think it's a good pick,
Hmm.
and I think that's right around where he's going to go.
And I just want all the pieces. I want as many pieces in this Dallas offense that I can get. I like this Dallas offense a lot. They proved it last year with Dak. This offense is going to be very, very fantasy friendly, and even to tight ends. So if you want to take a stab later, and there we go, we got Myles Gaskin. I like that pick. I like Myles Gaskin a lot. Miami hasn't really done a whole lot to address the running back situation. To me, that just proves that they like Myles Gaskin. I mean, they did sign Malcolm Brown. I'm not worried about Malcolm Brown. I like Myles Gaskin, so very solid. And look at this team. Look at those running backs for this team. Hopefully, here they go with a wide receiver and not a quarterback. Let's see. Oh my gosh, 4 running backs.
Wow.
Woohoo. I mean, that's a hell of a 4 running back monster we got here. This team is looking good in terms of running backs. I would have probably went with a wide receiver, like take your stab if you like Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen, like Tyler Lockett as my wide receiver number 1. I feel good about that. Now you're taking a risk. Like who's he gonna really have as his wide receiver number 1 as we get later? Maybe Juju, maybe Robbie Anderson. How do you feel about that? I would have taken one of those guys there personally.
I with 3 running backs already on my team, I would not take a running back who's in a timeshare who is the number 2. He's the 1B to Nick Chubb being the 1A. Yeah, Kareem Hunt's a beast. They like to run the ball in Cleveland. If one or the other goes down, whoever's healthy is going to be a top 10 fantasy option. But you don't have a wide receiver. You got to take one there,
Mm-hmm.
especially with like Thielen and Cooper Kupp being available. I'm really surprised by that pick. I'm not a big fan of it.
I agree. That I would have won wide receiver there for sure. All right, team 2. Let's see who we got here. ETN. This is just
Damn.
somebody for me. Oh, damn it. There's somebody for me that I can't get into his ADP. I can't. Like for me, I would definitely take Mike Davis over ETN. Like this is a team that wants to run the football. I still think that James Robinson will be decently involved in this offense. I I don't know. I just don't like ETN as much. How do you feel about him? Obviously, you said Davis, so you like him. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think they took him in the first round for a reason. And we're talking. So if it was standard, I would hate that pick. But for half PPR and PPR, I think ETN's in store for like 40, 50 catches this season. I know they came out and were being cute by saying, oh, he's going to be another wide receiver for us. No, he's your running back. But we all know what James Robinson did there last year. So it's like hard to see him being the guy and just them forgetting all about Robinson. But when you use a first round pick on someone that's a running back, it usually means you have high hopes for him. And I expect him to get volume. How much? I don't know. He might be someone who like emerges in the second half of the season as their 3-down guy, but I think there's definitely upside there, especially in the receiving game at running back position.
And just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, and I've said this in the past, like I do think that towards the like middle of the season is when he's going to get more involved, and I just think that the fantasy manager that's going to take him here, or possibly even in the 4th round, is going to panic a little bit at that point. And I think he's going to be a very good trade target for that second half. So that's why I'd rather let somebody else take him and try to make a trade for that player. But obviously that could maybe not work out. But that's just how I feel about ETN this year. I just feel like he's somebody who's going to be a little bit too overvalued for his possible workload. But we'll see. Let's see who we got next. Kenny Galladay goes. Oh man, there's still some good wide receivers here that I think are not being drafted, that haven't been drafted yet, and that I really like. I really like. So let's see who we got next. I don't like. Well, real quick, I guess. Kenny Galladay. How do you feel about Kenny Galladay this upcoming season? You like him there? Would you take somebody else?
So I hate to keep sounding redundant. This guy has very good upside. He's He just finished 2 years ago number one in the league for touchdowns with 11. Yes, he had Stafford throwing him the ball, not even for a full season though, but he's just always hurt, and that scares me. And the Giants, they do have other weapons to throw the ball to, but I wouldn't be surprised if he finished like top 20 at wide receiver. It's just not a risk I'm willing to take this year. I think Kenny Galladay is a beast, but he has to be healthy.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right, so you're on the clock. Let's see who we got.
Yeah, this might be a reach to some, but I'm a big fan of three running backs, and I want to make sure I get a guy who is going to dominate his backfield. And I'm going to go ahead and go with Mike Davis here.
I like the pick.
His season last year was awesome, filling in for CMC. I don't expect him to get the same amount of volume per game that he did filling in for CMC, because that whole offense revolves around getting their running back involved. But with the new regime in Atlanta, I think they're going to be running the ball a lot more than they did last year with Todd Gurley. So I like Mike Davis. I'm happy I have my three running backs now, and now I can focus on wide receiver, tight end, QB for a few rounds.
No, I like that pick a lot. Like I was saying with ETN, I'd rather go Mike Davis. I mean, if it's right after Kareem Hunt, honestly, I would even take him over Kareem Hunt, because I do think that Mike Davis is going to dominate this backfield. I think he's going to be heavily involved in this offense. This is somebody that I think can easily get 250 touches, and he's going way, way too late. Way too late. There's no competition for touches for Mike Davis. He's the guy. He will be the guy this upcoming season. I like that pick a lot. All right, let's see. This team's looking real good here. Team number 5. Let's see if it continues. Cooper Kupp, man.
Wow. Yep.
This team is solid. Wow. This team, hey, team number 5. I honestly think I like your team the most currently. This is a damn good looking team. All right. Honestly, that's really good value for me. I love Cooper Kupp this upcoming season. I've already said it. I just think this offense is going to be very good, and especially with the addition of Matthew Stafford, an upgrade over Jared Goff, no brainer. Like, he could easily, in full point PPR, be a top 10 guy, I believe. He's going to see good volume, good quarterback. Sky's the limit. And Adam Thielen. All right, here we go. We got some of these top guys going. This is another solid value pick. Like Adam Thielen in the 5th round. Hell yeah. Of a 12-team league. Hell yeah. Agreed with that?
Yeah, people are really sleeping on Thielen. I mean, I know he didn't break 1,000 receiving yards last year, and he had a bunch of touchdowns, which is something that's really hard to gauge. Like, you never know how many touchdowns someone's going to have in a season. But he's proven that he's a premier talent in the league. He's awesome. And to get someone you can start week in, week out in the 5th round in Adam Thielen, I think that's a great pick. And that, I mean, even though they took a QB early, that team's starting to shape up really good too.
Agreed. And I do think that there's obviously going to be some regression for touchdowns, but I do agree. Like, this is way too late currently for him. All right, let's see who we got now. Team number 7, we got Dak Prescott. Still, I want to go quarterback here. I still think for me, it's just a little bit too early, but this is the 5th quarterback off the board, and it should be Dak Prescott. I believe that Dak Prescott, like we kind of talked about this in the previous video, that Dak Prescott could easily be like quarterback number 1, I believe. He was on pace to have a MVP season last year, and then obviously got hurt. So the dude can definitely finish as quarterback number 1, I believe, and you can get him at quarterback number 5. See who we got next. Mark Andrews. Is he tight end number 4 for you?
It's kind of a toss up with him, Hawkinson, and Pitts. I can understand why people would want to lean on Mark Andrews because he's the number 1 in Baltimore. He's proven that he's their best receiving option. But I think there might be a little bit more upside with Pitts and Hawkinson this year. Don't hate it, don't love it, but If you were to tell me Mark Andrews was the fourth tight end off the board, I wouldn't be surprised.
Agreed. Me personally, he's not the fourth tight end for me. I think there's better options. So I don't really like to pick. To be honest, I just think that there's other guys here that I'd rather take. And now I'm on the board, baby. I'm on the board, and this is somebody for me. Oops, gotta this that play. There we go. For me, this value here, I have Tyler Lockett. I believe currently have him as my 16th quarterback. Yeah, wide receiver. So for me, this tremendous value. Tyler Lockett, it's basically the past 3 seasons has been a top 15 guy in fantasy football. I believe that he's somebody that's being slept on as well. Like currently, his ADP is wide receiver number 22. Last year, he finished as a top 10 guy. I had more targets than DK Metcalf. I get it. DK Metcalf is the sexier name. He's this dude that's ripped out of his mind. Just did what was a one-legged like 42, 48 vertical jump with a medicine ball or something. That just happened. There's a video, absolutely insane. But Tyler Lockett isn't going anywhere, guys. Tyler Lockett is still going to be involved in this offense, so I still like him to at least finish as a top 20 guy. For me, it's good value here. Anything you want to say there?
I had Tyler Lockett last year as my third wide receiver, and when I picked him, it was because it was like the one name that wasn't crossed out on my cheat sheet that was just staring at me. It's like everyone passes up on him every year. I don't know why. He's like year after year one of the most underrated wide receivers. Um, he's streaky though. He's kind of a home run hitter. He's not really like the consistent 7-8 catches a game. That's a lot to ask, but I'm with you. I mean, as long as Russell Wilson's throwing the ball, I think Tyler Lockett is a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 for any fantasy team in any format.
Agreed. Let's see who we got next. TJ Hawkinson. I mean, for me, I do like that pick. I like TJ Hawkinson as the fourth tight end off the board for me, and I said it previous video as well. Like, this is somebody that I truly believe next season we could be putting him in the top tier tight ends with like Darren Waller, George Kittle, because of volume. Like, I just don't see a whole lot of competition for receptions on this offense. They don't really have good wide receivers, and he's the best receiving option for this team by far. And I also just believe he's a phenomenal talent. The up and coming stars at tight end position in this league. So for me, he's the fourth tight end. I like that pick. How do you feel about Hawkinson? He's a Detroit fan.
No, Hawkinson's great. Um, he's definitely their number one option in the passing game this year. With no Marvin Jones and no Kenny Galladay, I expect his volume to go up big time. And I'm pretty sure he finished as like a top 5, top 6 tight end last year.
Yeah.
So I would have to agree with you. Like he's got to be, like I said, I think he's either fourth, fifth, or sixth tight end off the board. It's hard to put Kyle Pitts ahead of him because we haven't seen him play yet. I do like Kyle Pitts' potential, but I think that's a really safe pick at tight end this year.
I agree. All right, let's see who we got next. We got T. Higgins. T. Higgins off the board. How do you feel about this pick?
I have a couple wide receivers I'd probably take over him. I would say he was definitely Burrow's favorite target last year, but maybe a little too early for me.
Are you going T? Who's the first Bengals wide receiver off the board for you?
I'd probably go Ja'Marr Chase just because I think he's like a Justin Jefferson, Calvin Ridley type of production in the making. Like he's going to be really, really good. And I'm not scared to have I'm not scared to have 2 wide receivers on that team because they throw the ball so much. Like they're going to have 3 wide receiver sets all the time. I definitely like T. Higgins. I think he's a good, solid player to have, but I'm going to roll with Ja'Marr Chase this year. Let's put it this way. When it comes back to me, that might be the guy on my team. If he gets back, if he gets to me. But I really like Ja'Marr Chase this year. His ADP scares me though.
I'm surprised his ADP isn't that high on here. Like it's higher. I believe he's like wide receiver number 25 or something, being taken right now. So I'm surprised that T. Higgins went that early. I figured Jamar Chase would have been the first wide receiver for the Bengals off the board. I would, for me personally, I would go Jamar Chase over T. Higgins for sure. So I do think that this is a little bit of a reach as well. All right, let's see who we got next. We got Chase Edmonds. I mean, it's solid. I think that there's definitely some decent potential here, but I also don't believe that Chase said I believe James Conner is going to be, as long as James Conner is healthy and plays at least like 15 games this season, 14 games. I believe that James Conner is going to be heavily involved in this offense. I just don't think that they're going to give the ball to Chase Edmonds a bunch. I think that's why they signed James Conner, because he's a bruiser between the tackles kind of guy, which they used Kenyon Drake in that kind of role last year, where I think that they're going to use, honestly, James Conner in that role this upcoming season. So, but I do think that there's going to be a little bit more work for him between the tackles, and then he's going to take some of that work that Kenyon Drake had last year in the passing game and take that over a little bit as well. So I do think in full point PPR, that's a solid pick. How do you feel about Chase Edmonds this upcoming season?
Tons of upside. If he were to run away with the starting position, I think he could be a solid lock for a top 10, top 15 running back. I'm not even kidding. Like if James Conner were to go down, if James Conner just isn't in the picture, I would really like Chase Edmonds. For the fact that they went out and got Conner, that kind of hurts Edmonds' stock for me, because Conner, that's just a name of someone who's like proven themselves in this league. But Chase Edmonds, he's just been waiting to be the number one. He's always had someone ahead of him, and he gets a lot of catches. I don't think that's going to change. So for the sake of it being half PPR, yeah, I mean I like that pick, and that team needed a running back. So I'm not.
Yeah,
I think it's a fine pick.
no, I think especially for that team, yeah, that's a good pick for that team for sure. Let's see who we got next. And Russell Wilson off the board here. The quarterbacks are going fast. Is Russell Wilson your sixth quarterback off the board?
Definitely. I mean, until I figure out what's going on with Rodgers, he would be my sixth.
Okay. All right, let's see who we got next. Team 11, Deontay. Damn it! That's who I was hoping would come back to me. All right. I mean, me personally, I love Deontay Johnson. I mean, I'm a Steelers fan. Some people say I'm a homer because I'm so high. Somebody said in the comments that I'm a homer because I'm so high on Najee Harris, which, I mean, come on. The guy's a lock for like 200 plus or 260 plus touches, all right? As long as he's healthy. Deontay, he was the number one wide receiver for Pittsburgh last year. Saw the sixth most targets in the NFL last year. Sixth most targets, and that's leaving a game early in the first quarter and not even playing in another game. Still finished sixth in targets. I don't think that number is going to be there this year. I think that they're going to definitely try to run the ball a lot more, but he's the number one option in Pittsburgh for wide receiver here. That's pretty good. But for this guy's team, though, okay, he's got 4 wide receivers now, right? That was after reaching on T. Higgins here. I don't like this makeup so far. I would have probably went with maybe even tight end here. Maybe a running back. It depends on who you like here. I guess not, because those running backs, I don't know. I maybe would have went a tight end because that's who I'm hoping gets to meet now. So how do you feel about this pick? I do think it's a pretty solid value pick, but I would have probably went Deontay here over T. Higgins, though.
I actually love the pick. I think where he got him is great. I would have definitely taken Deontay Johnson over T. Higgins and just rolled the dice on Higgins coming back to me. If you value Higgins over Deontay Johnson, I think you're a little crazy. Like you pointed it out, like Johnson got a ton of volume last year. And I know everyone wants to think like Juju is their clear-cut number one, and everyone says Claypool's the up-and-coming guy. Sure. Deontay Johnson got the most volume. So as long as Ben's peppering him with targets, I like Deontay Johnson, and I think where he got him is great.
Agreed. And like you said, I definitely would have taken Deontay here. I would have not taken T. Higgins and just taken somebody else on the back here. All right, let's see who we got next. Let's see. Please don't get sniped. Don't get sniped. Oh, we're not going to because he has TJ Hawkinson. I forgot about that. All right. So we got Odell. I do like Odell there as well. I do think that some people are sleeping on Odell a little bit just because he was hurt last year. He tore his ACL and he's coming off ACL tear, which obviously that's a big deal. But I do like Odell before he got hurt was wide receiver number 16 in fantasy football. Yes, there was that massive blow up game against Dallas, but that's just Odell. Like he's extreme. He's going to be volatile a little bit in this offense because it's a run first team, but he's extremely explosive. And we saw last year in that Dallas game. So somebody that I do think is getting drafted a little bit later that has 100% top 20 potential. So I love that pick for Odell. That's a very solid pick. But it makes my job easier here because I don't really want to go tight end early, okay? But for me, I'd rather go a tight end here than kind of pick one of these other guys that are like in the same range for me. Kyle Pitts. I love Kyle Pitts. I love Kyle Pitts. Like I just feel like he's the best player on my board right now, so I'm going to take Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is in line over the past 3 seasons. Matt Ryan, like you said though, I do think that this team's going to run the ball a little bit more, but over the past 3 seasons, Matt Ryan has been top 3 in passing the past 3 seasons. Last year he passed the ball the most. So this is a team that is going to still pass the ball a decent amount, I believe. You don't have Julio Jones there for targets. After Calvin Ridley, there's not a whole lot of people that are very good on this roster, honestly, from a wide receiver standpoint. Kyle Pitts is a generational talent. And at the tight end position is ugly once you get past the top 10. I believe that Kyle Pitts can honestly be a borderline top 5 guy, so I love Kyle Pitts. I'll take him here. I believe that he's in line for a good amount of volume as a rookie tight end. How do you feel about Pitts this upcoming season?
I think he's going to be a stud. I mean, you said it. I mean, he's going to be in the ranks of a Kelsey, Kittle, Waller, you know. I mean, the reason why he's not going higher is because he's a rookie. Like, people need to wait to see. But I watched him in college. There's a reason why he was drafted as high as he was this year by the Falcons. Julio's gone. Someone needs to get those targets. So why not Kyle Pitts? I think he can easily finish with 70, 80 receptions this year. He could eclipse 1,000 yards in his rookie season. I would not be surprised. So where you got him, I think it's great. I mean, you got your tight end position covered. And I think it's a steep fall off after Pitts here. Like I don't really like the guys after Pitts. So, you know, if you like Goddard, if you like Noah Fant, like that's fine. But I think Pitts is head and shoulders above those guys.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right, let's see who we got next. Team number 8, Brandon Ayuk, and that was another player that was on my board a little bit as well. But I just, like you said though, the fall from tight end is steep, and I just think Pitts is the best player on the board there. But Brandon Ayuk is a solid player. I believe that this upcoming season, like last year, in terms of points per game, he was borderline top 10. Right? He missed some time due to injury, but this was a guy that was very, very good. He's very talented. In this system, Shanahan, it's very friendly to X wide receivers, so Brandon Ayuk is going to be solid. How do you feel about Brandon Ayuk this upcoming season?
Yeah, people are a little bit higher on him than I am. I think he did have a phenomenal freshman year in the league, but I don't know how I'm still waiting to see what's going on at the QB position for that team. Is it going to be Trey Lance? Is it going to be Jimmy? Because if it's Jimmy, I like Ayuk. If it's Trey Lance, I probably like Debo more than Ayuk this year. But for who's left on the board, I'm fine with it. I definitely would take Jamar Chase over him though.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, I don't mind this pick, but I would go Jamar Chase as well. I like Jamar. Let's see who we got. Oh, Javonte Williams, huh? How you feel about him this upcoming season? What do you think's gonna happen with his backfield?
I want nothing to do with it. I'm going to be honest with you. At first, I was thinking you don't pay Melvin Gordon for him to watch someone else carry the ball. But I'm reading that they really like Javonte Williams. I watched him in college too. That guy was a stud. This is just a messy situation, and that's what happens. See, Team 7 only had one running back, so now he's reaching on running backs that you don't even know how it's going to pan out. So if it was a dynasty league, maybe I'd like it, but yeah, I would not want to be in this team or in their position where they have to take that guy as their RB2.
Agreed. I definitely don't like that as my RB2 as well. And yeah, I don't like that. That team makeup there. That's what happens when you go quarterback and also tight end. Could have gone Chase Edmonds. I would definitely feel much better as Chase Edmonds as my RB2. Who we got? And then Melvin Gordon. Oh, baby. If I had to pick one, all right. Well, if you had to pick one, which one are you picking? Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. If you had to pick one,
I'd go Melvin Gordon. I think he's a more talented back, to be honest with you. And they paid him the money, so I would go Melvin Gordon.
me personally, I go Javonte Williams just because I just feel like you don't draft a running back as early as they did, and they'll have plans for him. So, but that's the thing. It's a total toss up, and like you said, me personally, I don't really want anything to do with it either. Like if I get him around later, like in the 7th round, okay, I feel okay with that. Or if he's like my RB number 3, one of these guys, or like RB number 4, sure. But I still, me personally, I go Jamar Chase. Like this would be the person that I would take. I wouldn't even take a stab at these guys. I would take Jamar Chase.
Don't worry, Team 5 is
Oh!
sniping. Oh, Claypool, thank God.
Oh, baby. All right, let me go ahead and put him in. You're taking him, right?
Oh yeah, I'm taking Jamar Chase.
There you go. Claypool, no. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a Steelers fan, okay? Maybe Claypool ends up being a stud, which I do think he's going to be a stud. Don't get me wrong. But I think he's the 3rd receiving option in this offense. Juju's going to get his. He's a slot guy. Ben relies on him like in pressure situations, 3rd down situations. That's his go-to. Deontay, believe me when I say this, Deontay is the best wide receiver on this team. People love to say he drops the ball. I don't care. This dude is, I'm telling you, is Antonio Brown-esque when it comes to his route running. The dude is a phenomenal talent as a route runner. Chase Claypool, he's just a freak of nature build-wise. He's still a little raw, though, and I think he's going to take another year. But go ahead. I mean, you kind of talked about Jamar Chase, but like you said, this team's going to pass the ball a shit ton in Cincinnati. They want to pass the ball. Jamar Chase played with Joe Burrow, right? This could be
That's
a thing
right.
of beauty here. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, he he missed a season, and everyone kind of like forgot about him, and everyone fell in love with Justin Jefferson after year 1 in the NFL. But Jamar Chase is supposed to be better than Justin Jefferson. So if Justin Jefferson's a top 10 guy this year at wide receiver, what's Jamar Chase going to be? I understand it's his rookie season. He's got to get acclimated to the faster, more talented players. But of the 3 guys, Higgins, Boyd, Chase, I think Chase is the best. And real quick about Claypool, I just want to say like there's like 2 or 3 teams where there's 3 wide receivers going in fantasy in like the first 6-7 rounds. And I don't think the Claypool pick was great, but Juju, Claypool, and Deontay Johnson, they're going to get theirs this year. Like, they're all going to deserve a roster spot. You'll be able to start them here and there for sure. And I feel the same way about Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Boyd. I just think it's not something you have to shy away from. You don't have to pick one or the other. You can have 2 guys on the same team. Like, if you had Deontay Johnson and Claypool, I wouldn't take Claypool this early if you already had Johnson. But I still think, like, those are 2 teams where they have 3 wide receivers that they need to be rostered, and they all have the potential to have over 1,000 receiving yards.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. I mean, those are 2 teams that their guys are basically being drafted as like near top 30 guys. So like, obviously, what like you said, they definitely deserve to be rostered. It's just I just think that Claypool is going to be the 3rd option this upcoming season. But your pick, Jamar Chase, I think that's tremendous value right there. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think there's any way he falls that late in like a normal draft. To me, that's crazy that he's still there. But you never know. I mean, that's what happens. People leave value on the board. People scoop up the value. I think that's tremendous value. Dallas Goedert here. Tight end. What is that? Is that 7 now? 7 tight ends off the board? Yeah.
Yep.
Tight end number 7. I have him right around that range. I think I have him a couple spots later. Me personally, I would rather just keep waiting on tight end because I think that there's a tier of guys like him, Mike Gesicki, Logan Thomas that is still getting slept on. Like currently, I forget what his ADP is. I believe it's like 10 or something. He's still getting slept on. So I like Logan Thomas here more than Dallas Goedert. But if you like Dallas Goedert, go for it. If you want to fill a tight end spot, I would wait a little bit because I just think that there's a couple other guys. Well, let's see if there's going to be a right on 10 end. No, we got Raheem Mostert and the last pick here, Justin Herbert. All right, so go ahead. What are your feelings about these last 3 picks here?
So for Goddard, I probably have 1 or 2 tight ends over him. Definitely Noah Fant, and I'm with you. I think you can make the case to put Logan Thomas over him. Mostert, that's who I thought was going to be the guy last year for him, but he got hurt. And then bringing in Trey Sermon, Jake McKinnon, he's now like shown that he's going to play a role in this offense. There's just too many running backs on San Francisco. I don't think I would want to go Mostert here, although he does have the potential to take the lead role and be the guy for them. But it's just, I mean, you have 1 wide receiver. Like, just draft another wide receiver, my guy. And then as far as Herbert goes, yeah, that makes sense. Again, like I need to know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. Until I know, yeah, Herbert would probably be my 7th or 8th quarterback off the board.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. So we'll go ahead real quick. I feel like we're both going to say the same team here. I mean, although I will say, oh, never mind. That's your team. I was like, damn, that team's looking good. But I mean, team number 5 for me, I would say currently, other than our teams, obviously, has the best team. I mean, that team's looking good. I don't like that. Imagine if he would have went Jamar Chase there. My gosh, team number 5 would be looking so good right now. So good. I mean, Claypool's fine. Like, there is definitely some real high upside because that dude is a freak of nature from an athlete. And if he just gets better at running routes, like that dude, the sky's the limit for him. But other than that, I mean, the team that I don't like, I mean, I did like it, but now team number 1, what are we doing here? Who's going to be his first wide receiver off the board?
No idea.
I mean,
all I had to say is yikes.
Come on. I mean, even with quarterback here, I hope to God the next video we do here when we go through the next set of rounds that there's a wide receiver taken. If not, I mean, come on, man. Who are you going to have? I mean, right now it looks like possibly Juju, Courtland Sutton in that range. I mean, they have DJ Chark ranked high there. That much. But I mean, one of those guys who he's going to take, we'll see who he goes. Robbie Anderson, I guess, yeah, DJ Chark's right. A lot of receivers taken, but I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope it's a wide receiver. How about you? I'm assuming team number 5 so far is looking like the best to you.
Yeah, I would probably go team 5. I mean, I really like your team, but we're not going to pick each other's teams for this one. I guess, yeah, team 5 would be the only team I'd want to like switch with right now, I guess. They have the running back situation covered. And I mean, they could have waited on Claypool. Like you said, if they would have got Jamar Chase, I mean, that team would be stacked.
That team
so
would
yeah,
be
I'm
really
gonna
good.
go with 5.
Really good. All right, so that does it. We'll go ahead and we'll end this video now. We're going to make another mock draft video. We're gonna go ahead and go through the next 3 rounds. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to check that out. Also, there's a bunch of content. Go ahead and go through it. It's going to help you win your leagues. I promise you that. We put out quality fantasy advice. So hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date on all the latest content. Go ahead and say bye, Gigs. We'll see you next time.
Alrighty, guys. Take care, and we'll see you for the next 3 rounds.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm excited. So we'll go ahead and whenever Gigs has time, we'll go ahead and finish this up. Get these next 3 rounds finished. But thank you guys for watching. And have a great day.